Hi guys, this is Quinn Goodman, the Home Base CEO, and today's video is probably going to be one of the most important videos I've made this far. It's dealing with something that I believe everyone can relate to. Let's get right into it. If I were to ask you, what is your top 5 goals you're trying to accomplish this year, or top 5 goals you're trying to accomplish in the next 10 years? People say things such as, get a new car, buy a new house, travel, donate to charity. But I think, in my personal opinion, I think if you boil everyone's dreams and goals down to one common theme, this is what we're all looking for. We're all looking for what I like to call time freedom. And basically, I define time freedom as the ability to do what you want when you want. Now, the key is, if this is what we're all looking for, we'll say this is, point B, and we'll say this is where we're at. Okay, this is where we're at, and this is what we're trying to get to, which is time freedom. How do we get there? And this is this is a concept, or this is a visual that was showed to me, that kind of made me think and say, okay, how am I really going to get from here to here, realistically? And most of you may be familiar with Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. And if you're not, I'll break it down like this. You have E, which stands for employee. You have the S quadrant, which stands for the self-employed. You have the B quadrant, which stands for big business. And we'll say you have the I quadrant, which stands for investing. Now, this is the cash flow quadrant, and everyone falls into one of these quadrants. And you could possibly fall into more than one, but you're going to be in at least one of these quadrants. Now, for most people, we start out as employees. Employees basically are looking for a safe, secure job with benefits. Now, after the current crisis, we're all aware that there's no such thing as a safe, secure job. We can all agree on that. But now, let's think: can an employee have the time freedom, the ability to do what they want when they want? No, because you're working for someone else. You're working 40 plus hours a week, and you have a boss who tells you what to do, when to come in, when you can take a vacation, when you can go home, things like that. So we know the E quadrant can't get us that time freedom. Okay. Now, then some people move from the E quadrant into the S quadrant, which is self-employed. They think, well, I can do it better by myself. I can start my own business. But what ends up happening is, you don't own a business. You basically own a job. Because your income is totally dependent on how many hours you can put in. And usually, if you think about it, mom and pop type operations, lawyers, doctors who have their own small clinics and stuff like that, their own practices, they're putting a lot of long hours because their income is totally dependent on the amount of hours they put in. So if they stop working their business, then hey, there's their income. You can't have that time freedom because you don't have the ability to do what you want when you want, because you're a one-man operation. You can believe you can do it better by yourself, and you like to have control. Then you move over to what's called the B quadrant. That's big business. These are people who don't own a job or own a business. They own a system. They own employees. They own a mastermind of people who work for them, who get to benefit from being employed by them. But they have the opportunity to have that time freedom because guess what? They're not tied down to the business. They have someone else run their business. They hire CEOs. They hire high-level executives to run their business while they are enjoying their time freedom, the ability to do what they want when they want. So, and then you have the ultimate quadrant, which is the I quadrant, which is an investor. I'm sorry, I put investing, which is an investor. This person doesn't put in sweat equity. He puts in his money works for him. So while he's sleeping, his money works for him. That frees him up for the time to enjoy that time freedom, the ability to do what he wants when he wants. So you have to step back and say, okay, how am I going to get that time freedom? Well, we've covered. We know it's not going to be an employee. We know it's not going to be the self-employed. And you know what they call an employee and the self-employed? You know what quadrant? If you're in this quadrant, you know what quadrant you're actually in. You know what I like to call the rat race. You're just going around in circles. You know, you're chasing that time freedom. You think, hey, if I put in more hours, 40 years I can retire and live my life. That's kind of your mindset. You're in the rat race. Now, in order to get that time freedom, we must move over into one of these two quadrants. Now, for most people, if you're just starting out, becoming an investor, having enough money to invest and make a serious return on investment, we don't have that kind of money starting out. So the best place to start for most people is getting in the big business quadrant. And how can we do that? One of the easiest ways to do that is network marketing. That's one of the easiest ways to earn a passive residual income. You leverage the efforts and the skills of others. It's all about duplication. It's all about helping others, thereby helping yourself. And you get to enjoy that time freedom because you can choose when you want to work and how you want to work. And you earn that passive residual income, which allows you to have that time freedom to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And then at some point, now, if you're successful at network marketing, you're able to move over into the investor quadrant, where you have the best of both worlds. So this is actually how you're going to accomplish that time freedom. You have to move over from the left side of the quadrant to the right side of the quadrant. You're going from point A to point B. You're leaving the rat race and you're enjoying the kind of life you always dreamed of. Now, what you need to do here is think about it. I mean, how are you actually, a lot of people talk about what they want to do. How are you actually accomplishing it? I mean, are you involved in network marketing? Are you involved in your own, franchise or anything like that? If you're not moving from this side to this side, you'll never reach that. So I just thought I would point that out to some people so you guys can actually see it, how it actually works. It's one thing to talk about it, but it's another thing to actually do something, take action to try to move from this side to that side and get that time freedom. So I just thought I would share that with you guys. What do you guys think? I mean, is this a realistic representation, of, the quadrant? I mean, do you guys agree with the employee, the self-employed, the big business investors? Do you agree that, moving from the left to the right is how you're going to accomplish that time freedom? I mean, I believe it. That's why I got involved in network marketing, because this is what we're all chasing. And those who have the mindset and the ability to think outside the box or think outside this here will ultimately end up there. Once again, this is Quinn Goodman, the Home Biz CEO. And guys, like always, I want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace.